Hey guys, welcome to the nurseMARK and the Green Nurse Daily Dose of AFA, where we bring you hope, inspiration for growth and healing, and help you to start your day off the AFA way. And Sherry likes to say, in case you forgot, and she's right, because we get so busy, we forget that we're absolutely fucking amazing. And you are, I am, everybody is. We just get stuck in humanness and forget all about that. So, if you want a reminder, I wrote a book about it. It's called Absolutely Fucking Amazing: Living a Life You Love. And it is just sort of a sharing of how I got to the point of actually loving myself. Now, sometimes that changes because, of course, I'm human, as we all are. And it dipped back out of that knowledge of absolutely amazing, but you can get back on track. And there are tips and tricks and things that you can do that are in the book. So check it out. Check it out. So, welcome. Good morning. Tuesday, August 3rd, 2021. It is the only one that we're going to get. And I'm so excited to be here with you all today. And what a great way to start the day, right? We get together. Good morning, Marissa. Good morning, Brian. We get together and we hang out and we talk about stuff. And today is, of course, Terpene Tuesday. Good morning, Deborah. It's Terpene Tuesday. We're going to talk about terpenes, and so we're gonna get right into it. Why don't we talk about the daily love? Now, I pull from a lot of different sources. Like, I read a lot of different things in the morning. Good morning, Beth. And sometimes I get some really deep stuff. And so today it's a little bit deep. It's a little bit longer, but it's really, really, really good. If you get this, if you get what is said today, holy cow, your life will be transformed. I can guarantee you. So the reading for today for the Daily Love comes from Landmark Insights, Book 2, calling that the name of the book is Redefine What's Possible. It's all about possibilities. Morning, Tiffany. So this one is called A Portal to the Domain of Possibility. So hold on. Here we go. We're going to rip right into it. Something happens. Immediately, we assign meaning, categorize importance, draw conclusions, identify action to be taken, form opinions that linger. This collapse between what happened and the meanings we assign takes place so instantaneously that we forget that what happened and how we hold it were two independent and totally separate occurrences. One reinforces the other, and a vicious cycle gets set in motion. What's disempowering is that in that collapse, realities unwittingly get set. We then see our lives and ourselves in terms of those realities, truths, really, and we map our behavior and future experiences onto those truths. And it's from here that we create the stuff and the story of our lives, with a few basic themes playing themselves out over and over. We can spice up or water down our stories, tell the long or short version, add drama or subtlety, but regardless of how clever we are or what new or different set of circumstances we put into the vicious cycle, what we get out of it is only more of the same. Knowing our stories are an interpretation and that that's not who we are produces a portal to a third domain. Possibility exists in this third domain. Possibility moves things around until our experience and our circumstances are a match for what we're out to create. Distinguishing that is transformational. It shifts the horizon of what's possible. I told you it was a long one, and it's deep, but it's so powerful. Oh man, I get goosebumps when I read this, and I really get it. And I get this. I understand that when something happens, everybody makes an interpretation and a meaning, and it's not based on truly what happened. So the power of transformation, the power that you get is when you can realize that when something happens in your life, you immediately make a meaning about it, but it's not necessarily reality. And you have an opportunity to actually change the meaning of whatever it is that happened. When you realize that you have the power to change the meaning of what happened, to actually think about the interpretation of the event, and you can pick any event you want, an interaction with a loved one or family member, something that you wished had gone differently, it's because of the meaning that you applied. You have the power to put any meaning you want onto any event, and that's transformation. Well, there it is. There it is for Tuesday, August 3rd. And now, without further ado, let's move to Terpene Tuesday. Good morning, Jamie. Glad you could join us here today. And so today, we're going to talk about humulene. And guess what? It's a terpene because it is Terpene Tuesday. So terpenes are organic compounds that produce specific smells and tastes. They're found in cannabis, essential oils, other plants, trees, and the foods. They're found in our foods. And in cannabis, the terpenes help ward off attacks from animals, insects, and fungus during the growth cycle of the plant. Think about it. If they're responsible for those specific smells and tastes, well, they're gonna make the plant smell a certain way to ward off whatever pest is in the area, or make it taste awful for them to want to eat. And so when a cannabis plant goes through the curation process, the terpenes become oxidized. It's a little chemical reaction, and they result in what we know are terpenoids. So terpenes contribute to the entourage effect. And, we talk about the entourage effect a lot because it's super powerful. It's the concept that the parts of the plant together work in synergy and create this much more powerful positive effect in the body. Now, there are a lot of studies out there that have been done around the entourage effect. So we know that it's a phenomenon. Everybody agrees that it is something that occurs and that it is very positive and very powerful. However, we still don't know how it works. But that's true for a lot of things. There are a ton of pharmaceutical medications on the marketplace that we know have an effect, but we have no idea how they actually work. Isn't that crazy? So here, go ahead, take that pill. We don't know how it works. We just know that it does. Same thing with the entourage effect in cannabis and terpenes. We know that it works. We just don't know how exactly it works. It's so very complex. First, in the plant itself, it's the chemical compounds, over 1,500, maybe even more, that are in the plant. Some haven't even been really identified. And think about it. We don't know all of those interactions. Then you apply it to the human body. Oh my gosh, this most complex organism. And so, yeah, the entourage effect is true. And so humulene is part of that. So humulene is an isomer of beta-caryophyllene, or it's also been called alpha-caryophyllene. Now, beta-caryophyllene is a really cool terpene. It's almost considered to be another cannabinoid because it does actually bind and have an effect on the CB2 receptor. So it's almost not a terpene, more of a cannabinoid. Super interesting. So humulene is a derivative of that, an isomer. And an isomer means that each of the two compounds have the same formula, but there's just a different arrangement of the molecules with different energy states. This stuff, I got to tell you, I got to be honest, I love this stuff. I love the chemistry of it. I love all of it. I know that you must love it too, right? All right. So many of the same plants containing beta-caryophyllene, such as basil, sage, and clove, also contain humulene with similar aromas. So you can see that these are all resident in our foods and spices that we've been using for thousands of years, right? So we've always had these positive effect of terpenes. We just didn't know what it was that we were eating. So humulene is a sesquiterpene that, while relatively common, is often found in low concentrations in cannabis. And humulene is found in, as I mentioned earlier, some of these hops: basil, coriander, sage, clove, black pepper, and balsam fir tree and ginseng. So humulene's found in all of those. So what's it smell like? Well, it's, of course, herbaceous, spicy, earthy, and woody, and with a subtle floral aroma. I feel like I'm almost describing a fine wine, and I'm sure that's because there are some terpenes in the wine as well. So, what are some of the benefits of humulene that have been noted? Well, we have weight loss, and as an appetite suppressant, humulene works alongside other chemicals in cannabis to promote weight loss. And I've had that question a lot. Can it help me lose weight? And the answer is, yeah, it depends. It depends on all the other things that you're doing as well, but it can help you to lose weight. It will act as an appetite suppressant many times, and also it it has a really, cannabis itself has a really wonderful way of helping to regulate glucose. And again, we're not quite sure how it does it, but we know that it does happen. And regulating your glucose, of course, is super important to longevity and avoiding type 2 diabetes and those things. And weight loss is one of them. Humulene is actually part of the analgesic and pain relieving qualities of cannabis. And of course, it's an anti-inflammatory. What isn't an anti-inflammatory in cannabis? Holy cow, we talk about all these terpenes and cannabinoids, and every single one of them says anti-inflammatory. Now, why is that important? Well, inflammation is is indicated in the aging process, right? That's how we break down, is chronic inflammation. And so it leads to other disease states as well. So you really want to try to limit your inflammation. And unfortunately, when people have inflammatory conditions, they're given NSAIDs, ibuprofen and NSAIDs, and they're really tough on the gut. And so over time, they can develop a lot of issues with that, ulcers and other things that go along with it as side effects. So being able to utilize cannabis as an anti-inflammatory that includes this humulene, hugely beneficial, because the side effects and the risk profile are so low. It's amazing. So in this case, very strong properties, where the terpene has been compared to the steroid dexamethasone. So of course, we use steroids when we're talking super anti-inflammatory decrease. The problem is steroids have a lot of side effects, a lot of negative side effects. And those of you who have been on them, this is true. So again, being able to use cannabis for arthritis, bursitis, fibromyalgia, and any condition that benefits from reducing inflammation. Anti-cancer, there's been some studies that have pointed to humulene inhibiting tumor growth by producing reactive oxygen species. Then those are chemicals that help destroy cancer cells. Antibacterial, especially against staph infection. And, there's been some other terpenes and cannabinoids that have been shown to actually have those qualities as well. And antiviral, malaria, dengue fever, lymphatic filariasis, and other viruses from early third stage larvae. Like linalool and limonene, humulene is toxic against fungus and pets. Not pets, pests. I hope it's not toxic for pets. Oh my gosh. So there are some cautions, as we like to make sure that you have all of the information. There are some cautions with humulene, and it has to do with just pure humulene that's been extracted and is in concentrate. Because remember, these humulene and other terpenes are in very small concentrations in the cannabis plant and other plants and spices. So humulene appears as a pale liquid with colors ranging from yellow, green, and clear. In its concentrated form, it may cause irritation to skin, eye, and mucous membranes, including the respiratory tract. So, it's just about that really, really potent extract of humulene. So, cannabis. Let's talk studies. Cannabis, there were 14 total studies, 5 lab, 4 animal. There weren't any meta-analysis or human or double-blind placebo. Again, because it's a very minor terpene. People put the money in sort of the more, I wouldn't want to say important, but the more prevalent cannabinoids and terpenes. They're going to spend their dollars on research in that area. So some of the receptors that were associated with the research, CB1 receptors, which again are found primarily in the brain, but they're also found in smaller numbers in other areas of the body. Some in the central nervous system, cardiovascular, GI, muscular, reproductive, and respiratory system also have some CB1 receptors. Top conditions related to the studies? Well, number one, of course, inflammation. We have cancer, which was non-specific, and then they had cancer-specific studies that included breast, liver, colon, ovarian. They looked at pain, generalized pain and chronic pain. Cannabis in and of itself, with all of the terpenes and such, is really effective for neuropathic pain. And we don't have a lot of options when we're talking about relieving neuropathic pain associated with either diabetes or cancer treatments or other things that will cause neuropathic pain. We don't have a lot of great options that work really well. Opioids don't work well for neuropathic pain, although they prescribe them. But this is really exciting that that we have these options with cannabis. So no clinical human trials have been done, but you know what? Results have been promising from what has been studied. So what cannabis strains are high in humulene? Get out your pen and paper. Here we go. Jack Herer, Chemdog. I actually like Chemdog. Original Glue, Death Star, Sour Diesel, Headband, Thin Mint, Girl Scout Cookie, Original Glue, Candyland, Sherbet, Gelato, White Widow, and Pink Kush. Oh, all the good ones. All the good ones. So, hey, Denise, what's up? Good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad you could be here. So, one of the things I didn't mention yesterday is that we have this amazing community with holistic caring. And I know a lot of you guys have already jumped on. Listen, spread the word. This is where we can actually really talk about cannabis and other things that we're not allowed to talk about on Facebook and YouTube. Quite honestly, they'll shut us down. They'll just take us right off the channel. So we have to really hold back on some of the things that we say. There is a lot of information out there that we'd love to share, and this is a way for us to do it. And that's by joining the Green Nurse Holistic Caring community. Super easy. Just type in that little URL and away we go. And we would love to have you as part of our amazing community. Now there's a free cannabis training offered there. And you know what? It's community. It's people who are curious, who want to understand more. They're people who are super knowledgeable. There are classmates of mine from the Masters in Cannabis Science and Therapeutics in the community. So, if you're wondering, or if you want to have access to places where you can ask a question and have experts answer your questions, that's where to do it. So we'd love to have you in there. And yeah, Yeah, that's it. So what else do we have going on this week? Well, yours truly. So I have special guest Jimmy Young, Emmy Award winning sportscaster and cannabis personality, joining me tomorrow morning on the show. And we're going to talk about what Jimmy's up to with Pro Cannabis Media and how he's impacting the world. He's streaming over Roku and moving this cannabis into the mainstream of media, where we'll be able to actually talk about cannabis the way that we should be able to talk about it. So Jimmy and I will have a conversation tomorrow morning. On Thursday, I have another super guest hopefully lined up. I'm waiting to hear back. And on Friday, I've got Masha Bellinson from ACS Testing, who's going to come on for Flavonoid Friday. So flavonoids are super interesting, and they have, the FDA has approved them as food, and so we're gonna have a super interesting conversation on Flavonoid Friday, and she's going to talk about what they're up to at ACS Testing in looking at flavonoids and understanding them. So this is going to be a lot of fun. We're really, really, really going to enjoy the rest of the week. Of course, we miss Nurse Sherry, but man, I haven't checked Facebook recently, but I'm sure she's having a hell of a time and wherever she is. And you know what? She deserves time off. Oh my gosh, she's such a force to be reckoned with and such a hard worker. She needs a little decompression, right? We all do. And so today, hey, listen, remember this. This was our lesson. Oh, wait a minute. One thing. I just want to check in with you guys. Yesterday, y'all were supposed to go out and just love everybody that you met. How'd it go? Did it work? Oh my gosh, I know it did for me. Holy cow. Oh, but I did have something happen though. Yesterday, I lost my wedding ring. Ooh. Oh yeah, I was fit to be tied last night. I lost my wedding ring, but thank goodness the love worked. I found my wedding ring this morning. Everything is good. Oh yeah. So how'd it go? Did you spread the love? Well, you know what? Guess what? You can do it again today. If it didn't go so well yesterday or you forgot, today, August 3rd, Tuesday, you can do it again. In every interaction you have, just love somebody. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Denise, I forgot to mention that. There's a cannabis experiential retreat with energized living in the Green Nurse. So it's a cannication September 10 through the 12th. Oh, super exciting. That is going to be something. I think you have what, 2 slots left? Amazing. You got to get in on this. Thanks for mentioning that. So that's it. Remember today, go out, share love everywhere you go. And the second thing is realize that an event happens and what you make it mean is not exactly what happened. So you can make it mean anything you want. So in that moment, when you make that meaning, which is automatic, realize you have the power to actually change what you want to make that mean. And that will change your life. All right, guys. Hey, love you. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate all of you being here this morning, and have the best day that you can possibly have. Really, it's about living your best life and helping others to do the same. See you tomorrow.